In the mid-1980s, California was plunged into a state of fear, the kind that lurks in the darkest corners of the human psyche. A shadow roamed the streets, a specter so malevolent that his mere mention would send shivers down the spine of an entire state. This figure was Richard Ramirez, later known as the Night Stalker, whose reign of terror would become the stuff of nightmares. His crimes, random but brutal, painted a picture of a man lost to the depths of depravity. Homes were no longer safe sanctuaries. They became hunting grounds. Night after night, the residents of California went to sleep with fear as their companion, wondering if they would be next. The media frenzy that followed only fueled the statewide panic, creating an atmosphere ripe with paranoia and terror. As we delve deeper into his story, remember, the darkness of this tale is very real, and its echoes are felt even decades after the events unfolded. Born on February 29, 1960 in El Paso, Texas, Richard Ramirez was exposed to violence and neglect from a young age, growing up in an environment that was far from nurturing. His childhood was marred by episodes of physical abuse, and he was often witness to the violent outbursts of his father, which left deep emotional scars. His frequent escapes from home to avoid conflict and abuse did little to provide relief, as he sought solace in the streets. He soon found companionship in a cousin who regaled him with gruesome tales from Vietnam, stories that were both horrifying and fascinating to the young Ramirez. This cousin, a decorated Green Beret, didn't just share stories. He showed young Ramirez explicit photographs of his exploits during the war, including images of women he had raped and killed. These images left a lasting impression on Ramirez. These sessions, dark and formative, were likely the first steps on Ramirez's path to becoming the Night Stalker, shaping his twisted worldview. Ramirez's descent into darkness was further aided by his developing drug habits and a growing interest in Satanism, which provided a perverse sense of identity and power. These elements would later become trademarks of his criminal persona, defining his notorious legacy. By his late teens, Ramirez was already in and out of juvenile detention centers, his behavior becoming increasingly erratic and dangerous. His crimes escalated from simple theft to more violent encounters, each act pushing him further into the abyss. His move to California in the early 1980s marked the beginning of his most deadly phase, a period that would cement his infamy. Los Angeles, with its sprawling suburbs and dark corners, became the stage for his nightmarish acts, a city that would never forget the terror he unleashed. The Night Stalker's crimes began in earnest in June 1984, with his first known murder, a chilling event that would set the tone for the terror to come. The victim, a 79-year-old woman, was brutally assaulted and stabbed in her own home, a place where she should have felt safe. This act marked the beginning of what would be a horrifying spree that spanned over a year, with Ramirez showing no discernible pattern in choosing his victims, leaving communities in constant fear. They varied in age, race, and locality, underscoring the randomness that made his attacks all the more terrifying and unpredictable. He did not just kill, he also committed rapes, assaults, and burglaries, each act leaving behind a signature of unique brutality and chaos, a testament to his twisted mind. Ramirez's methods were cruel and calculated, designed to inflict maximum fear and suffering. He often used the cover of night to break into homes, exploiting the vulnerability of those asleep, turning their sanctuaries into scenes of horror. Once inside, he unleashed a level of violence that was staggering in its cruelty, leaving behind a trail of devastation. The tools of his terror were simple yet effective. Handguns, knives, and even a tire iron were all part of his arsenal, each chosen for its lethal potential. The police were often left scrambling, their efforts hindered by the lack of consistent clues and the sheer brutality that clouded each crime scene, making it difficult to piece together a coherent profile of the killer. The relief that swept through the community following his capture was palpable. People who had lived in constant fear for over a year felt a weight lift off their shoulders. They could finally sleep without the haunting worry of an uninvited visitor in the night. The public celebrations and the expressions of gratitude towards law enforcement were testament to the profound impact Ramirez had on the lives of so many. News reporter. The trial of Richard Ramirez was another focal point for the community and the nation. Section 8. Conclusion: The lingering shadows of the Night Stalker. The tale of Richard Ramirez, the Night Stalker, is a stark reminder of the depths of human depravity and the resilience required to overcome it. His actions left an indelible mark on the psyche of an entire generation. While his reign of terror was brought to an end, the echoes of his actions linger in the memories of those he affected. The fear he instilled continues to be felt, a haunting reminder of the fragility of safety. The community, forever changed, learned hard lessons about vigilance and unity in the face of unspeakable evil. They came together stronger and more aware, determined to prevent such horrors from happening again. This narrative, though filled with darkness, is also a testament to the strength of the human spirit. It shows how people can come together to support one another in times of crisis. The collective effort to capture Ramirez and the subsequent healing process highlight the capacity for communities to recover and even grow stronger from such trials. Their resilience is a beacon of hope. As we reflect on the impact of the Night Stalker, it is crucial to recognize the ongoing need for awareness and preparedness. Vigilance must be maintained to safeguard our communities. In remembering the horrors, we honor the victims and survivors by ensuring that their experiences continue to inform and improve our societal safeguards. Their stories must never be forgotten.